Good morning, folks. This is Kent, and it's exciting today because there is a combination switch in a bathroom, right? It does the fan and the light. And the switch seems to be bad. So this is going to be how to replace one of these switches. And I'll explain it in such a way so that you understand how the switch works, and you'll be able to change a switch and know how to do it, even if the configuration is a little different, because you'll understand. So let's get to it. Oh, wait, one more thing. See, I wore my little Flash Gordon logo today. Well, here's the switch in question. Looks like this one does the fan. We can hear the fan go on, so the fan's in the bottom. This one does the light. Oh, light goes on. Oh, but see, now it's off, right? Jiggle the switch. See, it really seems like this switch is bad and it seems to be worn out. Look at that. The first thing is to turn off the power. So we're at the panel outside. So how to find the power? Well, look up from the panel. There's the weather head, and that goes out to the line on the street. So that's what you want to look for. You come down to the panel. Let's open it up. Look in here. Oh, nicely labeled. What's it say? Circuit 2. Bath light. Okay, so go to circuit 2. Here we go. Look at that. It's a 15 amp circuit. That should do it. It's good to have one of these testers. Test the black wires. Looks like we got it. For reference, I always like to make sure my tester's working, so test something else. See? That's hot. I picked up a combination 2 switch. Made sure it was white. See, 15 amp. You want to make sure that it matches what we got here. And a little bit about the switch. This is an old switch, and sometimes the configuration's a little different. See how the ground on this one is hooked up down on the bottom? You can tell it's ground because it hooks to the case and it hooks to the mounting, which screws into the metal box. Whereas over here, this ground is in the middle, and you see it, but it's the same thing. It's in the middle, and it goes to the back, which goes to the mounting, which goes to the metal box and grounds the circuit. On this switch, the power comes in on this side. See? These two are connected together. See, that's one little plate there. So the power's coming in here, and it doesn't really matter which way the power goes through the switch. But on this one, the power's coming in over here, and when you switch this one, I believe that was the light, then it comes out over here, right? And it turns the light on. Same thing over here. You switch this one, comes out over here, turns the fan on. It's like this switch is a little different, and it's different. The power over here comes in over here on this side, and it goes out here for the light and out there. See, those are separated, and these are on the same. So the way it's going to be hooked up is a little different, just the way that the switch is configured different, but it's still going to work the same. But the idea is for you to be able to see, yeah, this is ground, going to ground. See, that's ground, going to ground. Those two are clearly separated. you know, you have to go on this side, and those two are separated. But just use your mind a little bit, and you'll be able to replace one of these switches. And also make sure that it's the right, 15 amp. And I'll show you something about how to hook these up. I put a little piece of tape on this wire, so I know that that's the power coming in. And I just took a Sharpie and I made an L on this one because that's for the light and that's for the fan, and I want to keep it so the light's on the top and the fan's on the bottom. Loosening the lugs. See, and they did that right. You see, can you see that, how the wire wraps that way? So when you turn the screw, it's gonna wanna keep going in that same direction. So you always wrap the lug with the wire in the direction of it tightening. So, if it was wrapped the other way and you tighten it, it would tend to kind of bind the strands. But that's the way you want to do it. I got the power coming in loosened up. Oh, it's not normally that easy. Here's the wire to the fan. And of course the wire to the light. See, I got my little L there. Okay, it doesn't normally come off that easy, but here's one thing I like to do. These wires, so they look kind of corroded, especially this one. Can we see it? It looks black and corroded. I like to sand it down with a little bit of sandpaper. Make it look nice and coppery so it conducts a bit better. And the stranded wires, here's the one for the fan. I like to twist these, get them nice and twisted together before I put them in the new switch. I twisted up a piece of sandpaper, just kind of have it in here, sort of sand it down. So I spent a little bit of time knocking all the tarnish off of these so that they're going to conduct nicely. So here's the old switch, and the new switch has a bit of a different configuration. And here's the new switch. So the power, this one here that we have the tape with the power, that's actually going to go on this side. And then the light here is going to go on the other side, which will be on the top. And that will be our light. And it will be the same configuration, so she can still switch off and on in the same way. Once you understand it, then you should be able to do this yourself. So it doesn't matter which one of these lugs the power goes on. It seems that it likes to be up here in the box, so I chose the top one. And I'll just take a needle nose pliers and I'll bend that around a little more so it wraps the lug a little bit better. I got this lug snug. I like to use the straight screwdriver. One of the few times I like to do that. It just seems to work better on these lugs. Okay, see how this works? This is the light on the top. And so the one that's marked, I marked L for light, I have under this lug, nice and snug. And here's the bottom switch for the fan. And so here's the wire for the fan. And you can see I've wrapped it that way, so when we tighten it, it will be going with the same English in that direction so as not to bind the strands. So I've got my ground wire ready to be tightened up. I like to test this before it goes back together. So let's check the light. Oh, look at that, light's working. You can hear the fan going on. So this is working, and let's see, it says off, and the original switch was, and that says off. So one last thing, I'll shut the power off and then do a wrap of black tape around these lugs. So just to give a slight insurance program against them arcing on the metal box. So I like to do that. So this wrap of electrical tape will just protect those lugs from making any contact inside the box and arcing. I like to do it. And then just push it back in nicely. Make sure the wires, they bend, they have a nice bend so they can just have a nice smooth bend the same way they were when they came out. Although they're on opposite sides, but that's neither here nor there. When finishing the installation and tightening the screws, it's good to use a level to try to get this as plumb as possible. And you can see it's not quite plumb. And unfortunately, it's the edge of the switch is contacting the tile, and that the way that this is, to make it plumb, I'm going to file that down a little bit. And you can see I'm going to go at this nub with the file a little bit. Okay, you can see that nub is filed down, and we are nice and plumb. Now, I got her some new plates, but I kind of like the look and feel of this old one despite it being cracked right here. So she's going to get her old plate. This has been Kent with KJS Painting and Renovations, and hopefully you have a better grip on how to change one of these, combination switch, and know a little bit about how it works so you can figure it out yourself. And if you'd rather not figure it out yourself, you can give me a call. And yeah, thanks again for watching the videos and subscribing and liking the videos. It does help me get my work